Well, they waited this long in the evening for you to see what longtime supporters like me and Mary Lynn look like. And you notice I didn't say old, rather longtime supporters. I have great news for you tonight before we start to announce. Mary Lynn and I love events like this that do not go late into the night. So we're not going to take a lot of your time, so you can just relax at the end of the evening. So, how did we get involved in Opportunity? We're going to show you.
Waren, a couple by the name of McRae's just called and said there's an organization called Opportunity International, and they want us to get to know about it. There's some kind of event, and details will be forthcoming.
The McRae's? Do you know them? Tell them we won't be coming.
Fast forward about 6 months. Waren, the McRae's called again, and they said that there are some people from Opportunity International coming into town, and they'd like us to meet them. The details will follow.
I'm traveling. Oh, I? Who are Rob and Penny McRae?
No, Waren, it's Bob and Polly McRae.
So it is.
Fast forward another 6 months, maybe a year. Waren, Bob and Polly McRae called. And it seems that Opportunity International is going to have some international visitors there. They've invited us to a cocktail party and want to know if we can come meet them.
Mary Lynn, I have got too much on my plate right now, but you may go if you wish.
So I went. I wanted to know who these McRae's were. And by the way, these are real people. Polly and Bob McRae, would you stand up? And I wanted to see what this organization called Opportunity International was all about.
Well, that was just the beginning of a really incredible journey and friendship with them, with the McRae's, that's taken us all around the world and introduced us to the most passionate hearts and indomitable spirits of our lives.
It took us to Nicaragua, where we could see what Opportunity did in complete community development, where they gave loans to shops, to farms for produce, to factories that would then buy the produce and get it to market, to schools, and then to tourist hotels that would hire the students from the schools. True community development.
And to Colombia, a revisit of the country where Mary Lynn and I spent the first 2 years of our marriage. We were married and 10 days later moved to Cali, which you already heard about, which was paradise still before the drug issues in those days, and where OI has gone much deeper into the financial inclusion with the formation of a bank for the underserved, who now serves about 50,000 clients.
It took us to Uganda, where we could see firsthand how loans to school proprietors could get kids off the streets and into school seats. How loans to the schools could improve infrastructure, and how mentoring would improve the layer and the level of education and the collaboration between schools.
And to Rwanda, and a chance to see firsthand how OI was organizing smallholder farmers into cooperatives, allowing them to better negotiate for the sales of their crops, which were increased because of OI training and introduction of technology.
And as the years went on, we saw how Opportunity International brought technology to these developing countries to be used with these loan and clients. It was amazing that some of these tools were better than ones we had in the United States at the time. How many of you have had your identity approved at a bank with your fingerprint? And I was so excited that this technology and these first world things were given to developing country people first.
As I got more involved, I witnessed how the input and experience that I and others offered was received and how the organization was able to recalibrate, recalculate, and deepen their impact around the world.
But you know, overall, just as you've been impacted today, it's the people. It's the people who inspire us. It's the people we serve. It's how lives are changed by the people.
So we all have our favorite stories about visits. One of mine at the top of my list happened in Colombia. We were invited to a couple's house. It was a man and a wife and 2 children, and the most entrepreneurial, enterprising place I think I ever saw in Opportunity. We went to the house, and there were shopping carts all around the yard, and I asked about those. They had noticed in the local supermarket that the carts were always broken. So they went and negotiated a contract to continually fix the carts, get paid, and take them back to the supermarket. And everybody was happy. They got a loan from Opportunity to put a water tank on the back of a truck and went around the neighborhoods and cleaning off patios and awnings, which everybody had. Simple enough, right? Nobody else was doing it. They also had a hose with a nozzle on the end of it at the house rolled up, and so I said, "What's that about?" He said, "Wait and see." Motorcycles would combine. It was a car wash for motorcycles, because that was the mode of transportation in that community at that time. Why not? Seemed logical to me. So he said to come in the house. I went in the house, and the children were there on their computers. Guess what? They were selling time for doing homework and for playing games to children in the community. And last but not least, they had a glass cabinet, and I went up and looked closer, and they were selling all the necessities you'd need from a drugstore. So 5 businesses in that house. Pretty amazing, huh?
I couldn't believe that story, and one of my favorites was also in Colombia, and I think a couple in the back of the room shared that with me. We went to an aluminum cookware fabrication factory. Well, basically what that means is they take aluminum discs and they make pots and pans out of them. The story was simple. It was amazing. They had these pots and pans in department stores all up and down Colombia. They were the entrepreneurs of entrepreneurs, just like a story we've heard tonight, until something happened. They had one child. The one child developed cancer. They had no insurance. You can imagine. Bit by bit, they sold their company to pay for the medicine that they needed to save their child's life. But unfortunately, the amount of business that was there to be sold was all sold, and the child died. You can imagine, you can just feel the pit of desperation and loss that this family fell into, with no safety nets, no resources, no money, no nothing. Until someone from Opportunity International showed up and talked to them about how they might get a loan to restart their business and restart their lives. What a bright light that was, at a time they were just starting to see that there might be some light on the other side of the tunnel. Well, today, they have their pots and pans in department stores across Colombia, and more than that, they're paying it forward, because they're hiring the hard to hire, the hearing challenged, the eyesight challenged, and even convicts out of the prisons that have done their time, often for silly little misdemeanors, but that now can't get jobs. They're paying it forward. And now, I get to pay it forward. I get to pay Polly and Bob's invitation forward and invite all of us to participate in this great adventure. Some for the first time, and some even more You get to be part of the story, and you get to collect your own stories of the people that inspire you.
To make an impact across families and communities.
And to be surrounded by the best of people. But I will give you a heads up. They all have one problem. They all have enlarged hearts, due to the compassion that they fill with them with. So the bottom line is, around the world, there are millions of Lindas out there. Some of them walking with loaves of bread on their head while they're dreaming big dreams. Dreams of having a factory, dreams of sending their children to school. And then something happens, the dream comes through. They do that. They hire more, and more dreams are fulfilled, and more children are in school. There's a continuing impact. And this is a chance of a lifetime.
We want to help create 500,000 more Lindas across the world, and we think that can happen. It's something we can do, but it requires that we do it together. And this is just the beginning. We're excited and proud to announce that the Minneapolis governors have gotten the ball rolling and already committed $1 million of a $1.5 million goal. And now we ask you to consider to help us close the gap by raising another $500,000. And if we could reach it this weekend, that would be wonderful.
We know what support does. And we know that nothing happens all by ourselves. But we know that when we bond together and work together, we can solve this and we can accept this challenge. So on your tables, there are envelopes, and there are pencils or pens or something. And there are lots of Opportunity International volunteers who are around the room and who will answer any question that you might have.
It's been a great honor for me and Mary Lynn to partner with so many for so many years, and it's truly an honor to stand here in the McRae's footprints and invite you to join us in this mission. Thank you.